He gets judged because I am his trans Barbie fiance.
I'm marrying a trans woman, but I'm not gay. Well, then what are you, Mary? What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Before we get started, I'm just going to ask that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to comment just to help me on the algorithm, but you don't know what to comment, just leave a knife. Because I don't know which way I'm going to go on this one, so I don't know who's going to come after my neck, but you know somebody's always coming for my neck. All right, I've seen a bunch of these stories on YouTube lately where guys have been dating trans women and they still identify as straight. I don't really know how much I buy it, so I decided to watch one with you guys moment for moment. I have not seen this. I'm just going to react to it as I watch it with you. It's called I'm Marrying a Trans Woman, But I'm Not Gay, and it's put out by a channel called Love Don't Judge. So let's see what it's about.
This is Ayla. She fell in love with David.
All right, we got Ayla and David on the board. These are our players.
He gets judged because I am his trans Barbie fiance.
Since transitioning, Ayla's obsession with plastic surgery has concerned friends.
A little bit worried about how it could have a negative impact on the health further down the line.
And in the past, Ayla's family have expressed doubts about David's intentions.
I'm a straight guy. I never set out to date a trans person.
Nothing positive from family. Yeah, just horrific.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there, David. And I don't mean to be at all rude. I'm not trying to judge you. Love, don't judge. I love you. But if you're dating a trans woman, you're not necessarily straight. So when you say you're a straight man, no, it's got to be its own thing. And this is something that I think would be more healthy for the trans person involved because this allows somebody to lie to themselves. And the last thing we need are more people lying to themselves about what's going on with their transness, with their gayness, which rhymes with anus, with their straightness, whatever it is. Let's all agree this is not straight. It may not be gay, but at the same time, it ain't straight.
I'm Ayla, this is David. He gets judged because I am his trans Barbie fiance. David and I met on social media. He messaged me. Here we are 16 months later, engaged.
I was attracted to her the second
Wow.
I seen her, and I knew she was attracted to me too, with her reaction. Used to be a scaffolder, now I'm a content creator.
Joining the forces.
Yeah. I knew Ayla did solo adult content. We wanted to move into the world of doing it together. It gave us more flexibility, more time together, more real life, and we love doing it.
We look good together too, so, you know, why not? Me and David had done a couple of videos. I didn't want to do any more until I'd had my surgery. There's many parts to getting my boobs bigger for me. It's something that I've been kind of attracted to since I was a kid. Like, my favorite thing was I remember getting like a real life-size Barbie, and I was so excited for that because I was able to more like visualize myself of it rather than a small little doll. So I've always been kind of drawn to the plastic look. It's definitely gone further than I thought it would. It's felt like life or death. It's felt like I need to have this surgery done.
Are we still talking about breast augmentation? Because breast surgery should not feel like life and death, especially if you've already got some. It should not feel like life and death. So when she says she has an unhealthy obsession, that's something I would tend to agree with. But I've noticed that a lot of trans women go for the extreme. I always tell real women, trans women love everything about your bodies you hate about your own. I always hear real women complain about cellulite. When I was coming up, all my trans friends would tell me how much they wish they had cellulite because real women have cellulite. So this is where we're at.
It's about Ayla being who she wants to be. That's what's the most important thing.
I'm still a good, genuine, authentic, real person, then I can be as fake on the outside as I want.
Before we met, she says, I need to tell you something.
I was like incredibly nervous to tell David that I was trans. What I expected from him was to get some aggressive messages.
It got to the stage where he told me, I was like, I know. It was never anything to me. I've only ever seen Ayla as a woman, and that was it.
I still have that fear that like someday you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, sorry Ayla, like it's too much. I'm gonna be with a cis girl and have kids.
I'm with a normal woman. I'm with a normal woman. I'm with my wife, and
She says cis, he says normal. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he really is a straight man. I do not want to gloss over the fact that they're creating content together, which means that they're probably doing adult stuff. And I can see how her family would question that. I just let it go in that moment because I'm so used to friends being on the different sites like that it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, if a man comes in too ready, I feel like that was probably part of his plan to begin with. I don't know that it's something to necessarily be too concerned with, but it definitely does factor in. And yeah, if he's truly straight, I think that she's probably right to be worried because eventually he's going to want to go back to a normal woman, as he puts it.
we are going to have kids, and we are going to have a family. Did I ever imagine dating a trans person? No, because a woman's a woman to me. No one's ever suggested I was gay, not to my face anyway.
I'd love to see that.
No, I'm not attracted to men, I'm attracted to women. She's a woman, and that's it. I'm a straight guy. I never set out to date a trans person.
I always knew I was different to my brothers growing up. My family knew that too. Growing up on Skye, I was homeschooled for primary school and I was very much allowed to just be myself. So it wasn't until I went to high school that things changed. I remember always kind of joking to my family that I'm a girl, but it sounds bad to say it, but I'm a girl, but I'm an ugly girl. I began my transition socially when I was 24, then surgically when I was 26. I was performing in drag for maybe a couple of years at that point. This guy came up to me who I didn't know at the time was a trans guy. We had this instant connection and he was like, you should transition. You'd be so much happier. The next day I didn't take the drag off. I remember going out into public with my wig on and that was it. I was Ayla. Then I went to see my family on Skye, showing up as Ayla, and my mum was great about it and my brother was fantastic. He was like, you know, what's wrong with her showing up as she is right now? I feel like I'd wasted so much time already trying to keep family happy that as soon as I made that decision, it was booking a surgery. That was it, I was off. My first surgery would have been 2018 and I had my face done for the first time. So I had like a wee jaw shave, I had my chin shaved, and my nose done. Then I had 5 boob jobs, 2 facial surgeries, and then my reassignment surgery. I'll do my nose again and I'll do my jaw again and then my boobs again. It's always gonna be my boobs. Family has always been the one, and it doesn't make you feel great because you're so happy to finally be in a normal relationship. It's not met by family with the same shared excitement. It was really hard for me. Nothing positive from family. Everything was suspicious in terms of he's trying to use you. He'll just be wanting to get into the industry that you're in. Suspicions of, you know, why he'll be with you and probably saying that to a million other girls.
My family were positive, which I've never had any negative comments for anyone. My mum's quite a simple person. The way I was when Ayla messaged me that she had something to tell me is the way that my mum reacted when I told her to. She was like, so, are you happy? Yep. Is Ayla happy? Yep. Do you make each other happy? Yep. Through time, they'll see you happy and they'll know that you're serious. I do understand Ayla's family's worries. Of course I do.
Friends like Thomas have usually fought with guys like David. Is the guy a chaser? Is he after you purely because you're trans? So Ivy, what do you think about me being a surgery-obsessed diva?
I've known you for so many years and I've seen how much you've grown with him.
Screaming.
I'm very much a little bit worried about how it could have a negative impact on the health further down the line there for you. I know the effect that people who are not as open-minded or as understanding of these things are just going to see visually and make a really negative and wrong visual assumption.
Yeah.
Ayla's always been a very much the biggest personality in the room, but you don't see how much she's struggling and suffering with the recovery and the rehabilitation afterward and how much it affects her mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm. Being the biggest personality in the room, that's all very well and good, but do I have the biggest boobs in the room? That's the real question, Ivy.
Always have the biggest boobs in the room.
I noticed a pause when she said, do I have the biggest boobs in the room. I don't know if you guys heard it, but she might have been talking about something else. She might have been talking about something else.
You always have the biggest boobs in the room, girl. You walk into a room and your boobs walk in 5 minutes before you do.
I lead with my chest, Ivy, and also my boobs.
I just don't want you to have to feel like any problems can be fixed with surgery. You're such a beautiful woman, inside and out.
It's just a honest reflection on what an important person in Ayla's life thinks.
The way I see these two together is perfect. It's beautiful. If I'm being real, I'm jealous.
Watch it.
Their relationship is so beautiful. It really is. I'm still your man. It's such a supportive relationship. And within our community, that is so important, that you have a rock and a guide and everything.
Thank you.
Mother approves.
Mother approves. Mother approves.
Doing content with David, honestly, it's one of those things that I would want to show someone in the pub. Like, I'm so proud of it. I want everyone to see it, and I literally feel no shame or embarrassment or anything.
The reasons that this relationship works for me is because everything that I've ever looked for is in it. Nothing's forced, nothing's tried. I can be completely myself.
I'm forever, like, grateful to David for giving me, like, normal things I always dreamed of, but, like, never thought that I would ever get.
Okay, so after watching the whole video, this is where I land on it. No joking, no sarcasm. I think David and Ayla are actually a lovely couple. But the thing that bothers me is whenever somebody's denying such a huge part of somebody, no pun intended, but a big part of who somebody is, the relationship will never work out. And I think that's also where Ayla's insecurity comes in, that she expressed when she said that she thinks one day he's going to wake up and it's going to be too much, is that she knows that he is denying a part of who she is. He is saying, I just see you as a woman, which you can see her as anything you want to. But the fact of the matter is, Ayla is a trans woman. And I saw this happen a couple times firsthand when I was younger with some of my trans friends who would date strictly straight men. There was one in particular where they had been in a relationship for a couple of years together and been able to make it work out, but there was always his friends having problems with it and making little snide comments here and there to him about her. And it gave him a bit of insecurity because he would have to once again own what he was actually dating, even though he claimed to see her only as a woman. The rest of the world didn't. That wasn't the reality of the situation. So then at a point, they had to go to counseling. And at first, they tried to go to regular couples counseling, male-female couples counseling. And then eventually their therapist told them, I really think you guys would benefit more from going to a gay couples therapist. Because even though you may look at your relationship as being a male-female relationship, in reality, it is a male-male relationship. And these were in less politically correct days, so nobody was going to get in trouble for saying that. My friend tried it, and they had more success with that than they had with the male-female couples counseling. Eventually, the relationship just wasn't meant to be, and they both went their separate ways, but it is telling that they had better results when they went to male-male couples counseling rather than male-female couples counseling, which does make sense, because no matter what we end up being when we grow up, a lot of times what we're dealing with is the programming from when we were younger. I was raised old school Mexican American, but definitely old school Mexican. And that's something that I still have trouble with sometimes, being in gay male relationships. Then I've had it happen to me with age too. A lot of guys I date tend to be younger than me because that's who's usually attracted to me. And they say that I look younger than my actual age, so that's the way they'll try to treat me, as if I'm younger than my actual age. And eventually I have to tell them, look, even though you may look at me and see something other than what I actually am, my age is my age, and this is a part of the person that I am. So if you're looking at things as something other than what they are, then this really isn't going to work out. And in every one of those cases, it has eventually come down to a situation where we had to go our separate ways. So as I get older, I learn to navigate everything to do with me better, but I do realize that a lot of what I'm dealing with, even at this age, age is the programming from when I was a kid. So when it comes to relationships like this, I think that while the trans activists are out trying to force everybody to use particular pronouns and make sure that people are addressing things in this way, I think a quicker way to happiness for actual trans people and the men that are attracted to them, or the partners that are attracted to them, depending on what we're dealing with, is to maybe work towards taking the stigma off of people that are already attracted to people that are trans, rather than trying to repurpose what would be the traditional relationship and try to make it seem like this is the same as that. And when I say this is the same as that, a male-female relationship is the same as a male-trans woman relationship or a female-trans man relationship, because eventually you're going to end up dealing with some of the same problems that I talked about when I talked about dating people that were younger than me. Eventually it is what it is. We are what we are. And I think the healthiest way to deal with that is for everybody involved in the relationship to acknowledge the reality of the relationship rather than try to pretend things are something that they're not. And on the note of that, I do want to say that I think that that's something that society in general at this point in our evolution would be more willing to be helpful on than some of the other stuff that the trans activists are currently trying to push. Because I've always contended that a lot of the straight world is willing to help out when it comes to LGBT in general. I think people do want to be supportive as much as they can, but what they can't take is the pretending that it takes in order to appear to be supportive of the trans or LGBT community. So, in my opinion, the push should be towards a real live and let live attitude. Like, yes, that is a trans woman. And yes, that is a man that's attracted to a trans woman. And so leave him alone about it. Leave her alone to live her life the way she lives it, as long as she's not bothering anybody or invading female spaces. And also leave him to love whoever he feels it is he loves, or whoever it is he knows he loves. And let's accept that. Because I don't know if you guys heard, but there was this tragic story that happened a couple years back where there was a man that identified as straight that was dating a trans woman. His friends ended up finding out about it. They really bullied him about it, and he ended up unaliving himself. And so you can say that there were probably other factors that contributed to that, but at the same time, if that had just been one less thing that he had to worry about, and maybe as a society we didn't try to force people to hide who it is they love or pretend that the people that they love are something other than what they are, maybe that would be a healthier way for all of us to handle it. And maybe that would be the compromise that trans activists should be looking for, rather than what it is they're trying to force now. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I understand that a lot of people may not agree with me. I'm open to all of it. This isn't something I'm going to argue with you guys on, but I have found that when you guys do leave me comments, you will often give me a different way to look at things. Thank you so much. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.